7 workers have been injured, 4 of them critically, in an explosion at a construction site near Shepherd and Leslie. We'll get a live update from the scene with our Arda Zakarian in moments.
Vaughan's mayor wants more money to buy new cameras to help fight crime in the city, and we'll hear from him.
And the American League Championship Series now shifts to Seattle. The Jays, with their backs against the wall, down 2-0 in the best-of-7 series.
This is Live at 5. Good evening, I'm Phil Perkins.
And I'm Beatrice Faisman. Welcome to Live at 5. Well, 4 workers are fighting for their lives in hospital. 3 others have been seriously injured in an explosion at a condo under construction in North York.
Now let's go live now. CP24's Arda Zakarian, live near Leslie and Shepherd. Arda.
And this happened in the condo right behind me that was under construction. First responders tell us that around 9:15 this morning, they received a call that there was a gas explosion. As to what kind of gas, they couldn't tell us. But there were a number of victims that had injuries as a result of this explosion. 3 of them went to hospital in serious condition, and 4 of them are currently fighting for their lives. They went to hospital in critical, life-threatening condition. We had a chance to speak to some of the construction workers when this happened.
I don't know. We heard on the radio that there was a big explosion. One of our guys was up there. His name's Peter. He seems to be doing okay compared to some of the other people, but yeah, it's not good.
Well, I'm a handyman. I was working on the lower floors, and actually we just got a call to evacuate the building. And from what I know, I think there was a natural gas explosion in building C up in the mechanical penthouse, which is on the roof, and I heard some people got badly burnt. That's about all I know at the time.
It's kind of nerve-wracking, but it's all right. I'm pretty chill with it right now. Just processing everything.
The Office of the Fire Marshal is investigating this, as well as the Ministry of Labor does have an inspector on the site right now. Police are holding the site. This is a condo that's under construction. However, the first responders couldn't tell us if anyone was occupying the building in terms of tenants, but they did say that they will be here monitoring the situation. Back to you.
CP24's Arda Zakarian reporting in North York. Arda, thanks so much for this. Let's go further north now to the city of Vaughan, and the plan there, a new camera strategy to help combat crime.
Yeah, CP24 crime analyst Steve Ryan is in Vaughan this evening and joins us with the details on this pitch. Steve.
Yeah, Phil, the mayor of Vaughan, Stephen Duca, said today that he hopes that if a motion is passed at City Council, York Regional Police will have 10 new CCTV cameras that they can strategically place in areas identified as hotspots throughout Vaughan. This will be intelligence-led, there'll be data-driven, and at these locations, people can expect to see, if this motion goes through council, 10 new CCTV cameras that do 2 things. Number 1, they act as a deterrent for those would-be criminals, and if there are criminals that decide to ignore the CCTV cameras, well, then it gives the police evidence that they can work with when they try to identify those who are responsible for committing such acts in our communities. Now, earlier on, we did hear from the mayor, and we heard from York Region's deputy police chief as well. And here's more from the 2 of them. Let's listen.
What residents have said repeatedly to me and members of council and the deputy mayor is that they are exasperated and they are tired. I've lived here in this city for close to 40 years. It has always been a safe community. That is a cornerstone of our reputation as a community. And people want to see leaders at all levels working with police to step up and to do something significant and tough to push back against rising criminality. And that's why we are showing leadership here in the city of Vaughan. At the end of the day, I think people in Vaughan understand there's no issue with cameras that are following the rules. If you're not breaking the law, you have nothing to fear.
They pinpoint the actual gunshot within our community. That alerts us in terms of our real-time crime center, and then we respond. So instead of waiting for a 911 call that we know typically we have to wait for, the gunshot detection system allows us to respond that much quicker, and we get it immediately versus a third party calling us in.
So two other technologies that the people in Vaughan may see. One, the deputy was talking about there, and that's gunshot recognition. If a shot is fired, the technology will allow for the police to be notified right away, and they can go to where it is the shot is believed to have taken place at. And lastly, the cameras will be able to read license plates and identify stolen vehicles, and again, notify the police immediately if in fact the stolen vehicle is picked up on one of the cameras. Send it back to you guys.
All right, that's our crime analyst, Steve Ryan, reporting from Vaughan this afternoon. Steve, thanks for this. Well, Premier Doug Ford says he confronted a shoplifter at a Home Depot earlier this year as he was getting ready for a visit by Prime Minister Mark Carney.
He's walking out, and the store manager's yelling at him, come back, and the security guard's there. And I said, well, go get him. We aren't allowed to go get him. And so he went around the side of where all the plants and outside the parking lot. So I was in my car. I said, screw this. I'm going after this guy. So and by this time, my heart's beating. I'm ticked off. So I go racing behind. No one can see. And I pull up behind him and jump into the car. I said, buddy, what's in your bag? Nothing's in my bag. I said, buddy, I'm going to kick your ass all over the parking lot. Show me what's in your bag. And I did. I couldn't help myself.
All right. Well, based on the Premier's account, the Home Depot confrontation would have occurred in late July. He says he slipped his security detail on a Saturday morning to go buy plants for his cottage prior to Carney's visit for a First Minister's meeting in Huntsville. At the time, Ford said Carney stayed at his family cottage following the first day of the meeting, which was scheduled after U.S. President Donald Trump said he was going to impose higher tariffs on Canadian goods as of August 1st. I want to see CCTV of that.
I'm sure it would have been something.
Yeah,
Can you imagine, too, like you're that guy and the Premier pulls up? Like, what's in your bag?
Yeah, show it to me, and you think he's a mall cop, and you closer look.
I guess at that point, the security detail would have helped.
Yeah,
it's 5:07, 24 degrees. You're watching Live at 5.
Coming up, more than $280 million has been earmarked by the federal government to build new homes in the Downsview Park community. Welcome back. The federal government is providing the city with more than $280 million to help get homes built in the Downsview Park area.
And the money is part of the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund. Officials say it'll expand the capacity of the Black Creek sewer system, allowing 63,000 new homes to be built and support the construction of 17 kilometers of new infrastructure. Population growth in the area has now stretched the system beyond its limits, leading to flooding and blocking approval of new housing developments. Mayor Chow says the new development will create more than 60,000 new homes in the city.
For generations, this land has been a place of hard work and innovation, from aircraft manufacturing to an airport to the next chapter of housing and community building. Over the next decades, this area will be home to 100,000 people, families, residents, with tens of thousands of new jobs. It will be a city within a city, new neighborhoods, retail and office space, local shops, parks, community centers, and more.
This is a very significant announcement for Toronto, a big step forward in terms of unlocking the housing that the GTA needs and that Canada needs right now. And it's big news to us. It may not be as big as the redemption tomorrow in Seattle for the Jays that we're all looking forward to. But this is a huge step forward on the housing front. Several things are clear in these last few years. On the housing front, home ownership has felt unattainable to way too many Canadians. The costs of land and construction are too high. And overall, there's not enough affordable housing across Canada.
I've been listening to their ideas, to their concerns, and their hopes. What's clear is that there's a shared commitment to solving Canada's housing crisis. And I can tell you that for many, many years that I've been dealing on this file, I've never felt the kind of commitment and roll up the sleeves and attitude that we can do that I see from everybody right now. And Build Canada Homes is ready to lead on that charge.
In addition to the federal money, the city will also be spending over $425 million towards the project.
And the city is holding the first of 6 budget consultation meetings this evening.
Yeah, residents will have a chance to ask questions and learn about the budget process and financial challenges Tonight's meeting is at St. Lawrence Market North Building. That's a new one. It goes from 7 to 9 p.m. The second budget consultation will be held at the Etobicoke Olympium on Saturday afternoon, and there will be meetings in North York and Scarborough next week. The city will also hold 2 virtual meetings at the end of the month. People who want to participate can register through the city's website.
Well, Premier Doug Ford says his government is spending around $75 million to run advertisements in the U.S., featuring a speech from former President Ronald Reagan speaking against tariffs.
Throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
Yeah, the Premier's office says the ad will begin running on 11 major networks. Ford has repeatedly appeared on U.S. television in recent months in opposition of Donald Trump's tariffs, which he has described as a tax on American taxpayers.
Our first launch is going to be on every major network. Maybe one may not get it, and we'll talk about that at a later date. No, it's actually CNN, to be honest with you. They're a little nervous, but Fox and other people, but we're going to launch a $75 million ad, and we're going to repeat that message to every Republican district there is, right across the entire country.
The Premier's office says the advertisement will begin running in the next couple of weeks and will continue through January.
Yeah, sticking with the Premier, he addressed the Empire Club, as you can probably tell, a couple clips from that meeting. He was there this afternoon. He spoke about his government's plans for the fall sitting of the legislature when it resumes.
We'll stay focused on finding more ways to lower costs, fees and taxes for workers, families and businesses. And at a time when President Trump is threatening our auto and steel sectors, we'll mandate the use of Ontario-made materials in government procurement and Ontario-made vehicles for government fleets, so Ontario tax dollars support Ontario workers. We'll continue to invest in new, resilient and growing industries, including Ontario's nuclear and critical mineral advantage, creating hundreds of thousands of new jobs, including for workers hurt by President Trump's tariffs.
The fall session at Queen's Park gets underway on Monday. One of the first orders of business, that new legislation the Premier's promised on speed enforcement cameras as well. It is 5:14, feeling like 22 out there. You're watching Live at 5.
Yeah, it's warm. When we come back, a tenuous ceasefire appears to be holding in Gaza, but there appears to be signs of strains. Well, the latest developments out of the Middle East. Welcome back. There are signs of some strain in the tenuous ceasefire in Gaza.
Yeah, Red Cross vehicles were seen arriving at a location in Gaza City to pick up the bodies of hostages from Hamas. This came after Israel said it would cut the flow of aid into Gaza because of the slow return of dead hostages. Israel's focus has turned to when Hamas will return the bodies of all 24 hostages after only 4 of them were returned over yesterday. Hamas did release 20 surviving hostages in exchange for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners.
And in northern Gaza, health officials say the Israeli military fatally shot 3 Palestinians. The Israeli military says troops had opened fire to remove the threat of several people approaching them and not complying with orders to stop. There's uncertainty about when and how Hamas will disarm and about the future governance of the Gaza Strip.
CTV's Heather Wright is in Tel Aviv today and talks about the uncertainty about what happens next in Gaza.
We're also hearing reports and seeing video out of Gaza today of Hamas trying to reassert itself in certain parts of the enclave, carrying out mass executions of people that they believe or they have deemed to have collaborated with Israel. So there certainly is a power vacuum in Gaza right now. Hamas trying to wield its influence and power in certain areas. And so those questions keep coming. And the fact that now there has been a ceasefire, the bombardment has stopped, that is certainly good for all of the people in Gaza. But now the question is, how do they get the aid that they need? How quickly can it get in there? And what does the rebuilding process look like?
Former Canadian ambassador to Israel, John Allen, says that there is pressure on both sides of the Israel-Hamas war to ensure that this ceasefire holds.
What you're hearing now, the inability to deliver all of the dead hostages, and some of the shooting that's going on in Gaza was anticipated. The International Committee of the Red Cross said that it was going to be very difficult to discover and deliver all of the dead bodies given the rubble in Gaza. I understand the pain of Israelis who are waiting for those bodies to come back, but this was understood to be a problem. The Egyptians are there trying to help find these bodies and get them back.
The UN Humanitarian Office in Gaza says 817 trucks of aid have entered Gaza since the ceasefire took effect last week, but cautions that while the ceasefire has ended the fighting, it has not ended the crisis.
Moving on now, Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says India has agreed to restore a full cohort of Canadian diplomats.
Anand is making the first visit to India by a Canadian cabinet minister after 2 years of huge diplomatic strain. She talked to the media today and says Canada and India finalized the joint declaration for the first time in several years.
This is a step-by-step approach. It is a systematic approach that the Government of Canada is taking, and I am here to emphasize the importance of the comprehensive nature of the joint declaration and the work that we will do together in building the bilateral relationship step by step.
Anand says the speed at which the Canadian mission in India returns to full strength could help determine whether the two countries relaunch trade negotiations.
Let's go stateside now. Starting tomorrow, some big American news outlets may not have reporters staffing the Pentagon.
Yeah, New York Times, the Associated Press, the Washington Post, the Atlantic, and Reuters are outlets who won't sign a new Defense Department document about its new press rules. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's team has said that reporters who don't agree to the new rules will be thrown out of the Pentagon. The new rules declare large swaths of the Pentagon off limits, and journalists who report information not formally approved by Hegseth's team risk getting their access revoked.
ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox News, NBC also releasing a joint statement confirming they won't be signing the document either. It reads in part, "Today we join virtually every other news organization in declining to agree to the Pentagon's new requirements, which would restrict journalists' ability to keep the nation and the world informed of important national security issues. The policy is without precedent and threatens core journalistic protections. We will continue to cover the U.S. military as each of our organizations has done for many decades, upholding the principles of a free and independent press."
It's 5:21 right now, 19 degrees. You're watching Live at 5.
The Blue Jays, they're down 2-0 in the best-of-7 ALCS series. It now shifts to Seattle. We'll check in on how Toronto fans are feeling.
Could not think of a worse way to start an ALCS. The Blue Jays have a massive hole to try to climb out of. They are down 2-0 to Seattle with at least the next 2 games in the Pacific Northwest.
I thought it was the next 3 games.
Well, it's 3, but, there's a reality where Seattle wins 2 straight, and then it's over.
Okay.
And then we have to talk about the Leafs.
At least, yeah. Yeah. Well, CP24's Andrew Brennan joining us now live from the Dome with more on how fans are feeling, and I imagine the answer to that is not great.
Yeah, I don't know if they're as necessarily as Debbie Downery as Phil seems to be at this moment.
I actually feel
Phil,
quite
we're
good.
going to have to work on.
I feel good. It's
okay, then let's be positive.
It's the 10-year anniversary of the bat flip. And
I'm
they
just
were
saying.
down.
Yeah. I was just wanting Phil to be more positive, Phil. So I'm hoping that that's on the way. The bat flip was 10 years ago, so we can hope that works out for us. Actually, I think I just lost the feed from inside. That's okay. I can talk without knowing who's listening. Moral of the story: regardless of Phil being a positive Phil or not, there is something that comes with being a sports fan. We've been speaking with Jays fans here today, and something echoed actually by reliever Jeff Hoffman. Let's not forget that he was on the Phillies team 2 years ago that had a similar situation in the NLCS. They ultimately ended up losing to the Diamondbacks, and he has been on the losing side of this before. So he has a bit of a Zen mentality now he's trying to impart to his teammates, and similarly, we're hearing that from fans.
I think if we can take 2 out of 3 in Seattle and bring it back to Toronto, then we've got a solid shot. I think, there's no one person in Seattle's lineup that I think is, other than, I guess, Cal Rayleigh, who I think absolutely destroys us. But the thing about Cal Rayleigh, I feel like we have good pitching. He hits a lot of home runs, but he strikes out a lot. So if we can keep our pitching locked in and have some good offensive days, then I think we have a solid shot at it.
I had really high hopes, and yeah, it's really disappointing. I think we just really got to lock in now and focus because feels like do or die.
Pretty much the same every day. It's one of the things I love about this team. We take every challenge for what it is, which is its own thing. We don't drag last night or think about what's going to happen in the future. We stay in the now and go out and put our best foot forward.
So as the series does move to Seattle for at least 2 games, as Phil was nice to remind us, but potentially 3. If we take 2, come back to the Rogers Centre and get 2 more, that's not a bad way to take 4 of 5. Just some potential math there. But the basic mentality that I'm kind of seeing, Phil got mad at me for my 80s references before, so we're going 90s now. Let's go Arthur. Like it said in the theme song, believe in yourself. That's the place to start. And that's kind of all the Jays fans can do. Same thing with the team. Phil, Beatrice.
I mean, they could pump up some Arthur on the plane. For sure, like in the clubhouse. Baseball players.
Instead of Taylor Swift this time
Taylor
around?
Swift, yeah. Maybe pump some Taylor Swift. I don't know any good Pacific Northwest songs. Also Dougie. That's a good 90s Saturday morning cartoon.
Well, let's just hope they ride the Magic School Bus then all the way to the World Series. How about that,
that's the plan.
you two?
I'll take that.
Seatbelts, everyone.
Seatbelt.
Andrew Brennan, lock in that seatbelt. Thanks so much. We'll check in with you again in the next half hour. It is 5:27, feeling like 22 degrees. You're watching Live at 5.
All right, we'll have the latest on an explosion in North York condo that has left 7 workers injured, including 4 critically. Seven workers have been injured, 4 of them critically, in an explosion at a construction site near Shepherd and Leslie. We'll go live to the scene in moments.
Plus, Vaughan's mayor wants more money to buy new cameras to help fight crime in his city. Our Steve Ryan will break down what that means coming up.
And someone's got to break this down, too. The American League Championship Series shifts to Seattle. The Jays down 2-0 in the best of 7.
This is Live at 5. Good evening. Thanks for being here. I'm Beatrice Faisman.
And I'm Phil Perkins. Our top story, the city of Vaughan unveiled a new camera strategy today to help fight crime.
CP24's crime analyst Steve Ryan is in Vaughan this evening and joins us now with the details. I mean, Steve, you talk about all the time how much more brazen criminals are becoming. So are having these, or is having the CCTV cameras up around the city of Vaughan actually going to help curb crime?
Well, it will. If you have those that are afraid, let's say, if you will, of the punishment at the end of this, if they're ever convicted criminally. But if you have a system where the criminals think that the reward that they're trying to achieve by committing the criminal act outweighs the risk of being caught, arrested, charged, sentenced, then it's not really going to deter those people, but it will deter those who have some fear in our criminal justice system. So we're talking about 10 new CCTV cameras that Mayor Del Duca said he's hoping to get for York Regional Police up here in Vaughan once the motion is passed sometime later this week or next week. And these cameras will be placed strategically in areas where the York Regional Police have identified those spots as being hot spots. And it is hoped, Beatrice, that those cameras will deter people from committing criminal acts as a result of just being on the camera. And if, in fact, they choose to continue with the criminal act, well, there will be good evidence for the police to work with as I try to identify those who have committed those acts, throughout our communities here in the GTA, as we've been reporting on, sadly, for all too long. Here's more from the mayor, who we heard from today, and from York's deputy police chief as well. Let's listen to both.
These cameras that we are deploying in the city of Vaughan through YRP, that we are funding in the city of Vaughan and YRP will be deploying, will include that license plate recognition technology. My letter today to Premier Ford will be asking him to work with the 407 ETR, the Highway 407 company, to install this ALPR technology on the 407 cameras across the GTA. I've heard from Deputy Chief De Silva, and he in turn would know, of course, because he talks to his law enforcement friends and partners across this region on a regular basis. We know that Highway 407 is a major gateway and getaway opportunity for the criminals that are stealing vehicles in our community.
Our residents are tired of crime. They understand that technology works, and they want to see improved community safety. And if there are tools that we can leverage to improve that, to investigate, to bring those to justice, what we've heard is within our community that CCTV and innovation and technology that improves that is welcome.
Two new technologies that will come with the cameras. What the mayor was talking about there is technology that will identify license plates, and if a car is stolen, they will notify the police. He's talking about having the province come on board as well to have that technology throughout the 407. And the other technology that Vaughan residents could soon be seeing is gunshot technology, gunshot recognition rather. If there is a sound of gunshots, this technology will pick that up, identify the police, and the police can go exactly to where they believe the sounds of gunshots were coming from. So
all right.
guys.
Fighting crime in 2025. Thanks so much, Steve. Appreciate that. Yeah, let's go to North York now. 4 workers are fighting for their lives. 3 others have been seriously injured in an explosion at a condo that's being built right now.
Let's go live to CP24's Arda Zakarian at the scene near Leslie and Shepherd. I know you spoke, Arda, to some of these construction workers who are up there in that building. Have they given you a better understanding at all about what actually happened, what led to this explosion?
So when we asked first responders that question, they said it is all part of the investigation. They said when they got onto the scene, there wasn't a fire. They couldn't even tell us whether or not the injuries were burns, but they did say that they are related to the gas explosion. They couldn't even tell us what kind of gas it was. But what we do know is that they got the call this morning at 9:15 in the morning that there was a gas explosion in the utility room in the penthouse on the penthouse floor. And so when they got onto the scene, they took 7 people to hospital, 3 of them in serious condition, and 4 of them are fighting for their lives. They're in hospital in life-threatening condition. Here's more from first responders.
We do not attend a lot of calls like this, of this serious nature, in construction sites. We do attend and we do respond to all emergencies when requested, but I cannot recall in the last couple of years something to this nature.
For scenes like this, where there are more than one patient, there are multiple patients, of course, it has to be very organized, very coordinated, and we coordinate with our allied emergency partners to ensure that each patient is triaged according to their severity of their injuries, and then they're transported accordingly.
And this happened in the condo behind me, the mechanical room on the 28th floor penthouse. And what we can tell you is that this is all under investigation. So we have not only the Ministry of Labor, who has an inspector here on site investigating, but also the Office of the Ontario Fire Marshal. Back to you.
That's CP24's Arda Zakarian reporting in North York. Arda, thanks for this. Well, Premier Doug Ford says he confronted a shoplifter at a Home Depot earlier this year as he was getting ready for a visit by Prime Minister Mark Carney.
He pulled out one of those saw blades that you open up,
yeah,
and you can use it as a saw blade. And the store manager said that's what he stole. And then, we start saying da-da-da-da to the guy, and then I said, keep emptying out the bag. He pulls out some cutters, tin snips, and by this time, I'm in a pretty rage. I'm just in a full-out rage on this guy. And I said, buddy, you stole those too? And he goes, I swear to God, I didn't steal them. He said, look at the rust on them. I looked at them, they were rusty. I said, okay, those are yours, but the rest? And then I went on to tell him if I ever see him in the parking lot, he's going to get a beating like he's never got before. But that's what you have to do.
Oh, boy.
They need to release the tape of the security footage in the parking lot here at this Home Depot. So based on the Premier's story, the Home Depot confrontation would have occurred late July. He says he slipped his security detail on a Saturday morning to go buy plants for his cottage. This is before the Prime Minister was going to be visiting, before the First Minister's meeting in Huntsville. At the time, Ford said that Carney was going to be staying at his family cottage following the first day of the meeting, which was scheduled after U.S. President Donald Trump said that he was going to impose higher tariffs on Canadian goods as of August 1st. Get the tape. I need to see it.
I can't.
I need to visualize it. It seems there are multiple interactions.
Can you imagine Premier Ford showing up at the First Minister's meeting, like bandaged up?
bandaged up, enraged, and then Carney's there like, what happened? And then, let me tell you. Poor Caesar first, talk about it, as one would do at the cottage. But
I mean, it sounds like a good story.
Great.
Right?
He loves telling that story.
It is 5:37, 22 degrees. You're watching Live at 5.
Come on the show, Premier. Talk to us about it. You can also talk to us about the Jays. What the heck is going on? They're down 2-0 to the Seattle Mariners as they now are in the Pacific Northwest, trying not to get swept. I have faith. They'll be okay. We'll talk to Andrew Brennan.
All right. Well, the Blue Jays, they did this to themselves,
Yep.
and now they've got a big hole to climb out of if they want to go on to the World Series. They're trailing 2-0 to Seattle with at least the next 2 games on the West Coast. 3 if they're lucky, if they perform well.
Yeah, I got a feeling, Andrew Brennan, live outside the Rogers Center. I'm not negative. I'm upset, disappointed. I think they're gonna win 2 of 3. I think they're gonna go to the Rogers Center. They're gonna win on Sunday, Game 6, and then Game 7's a toss-up on a Monday, though. I don't like the vibes of a Game 7 on a Monday, but I like it. I like our chances in the. They swept them in May, so that's May. But this team is a resilient bunch, Andrew.
That's a good save, Phil. That's a good save.
Yep.
Not negative there. No, not at all. I appreciate you getting back on the positive side of things. Positive Perkins. That's what we're looking for. And as we talk about positivity, also just realism as well. Fans understand that this is not, it's not unheard of. There's a lot of times that in baseball you see teams come back in the postseason from 2 games, especially in a best of 7 series. The Yankees did it in 2017. The Jays did it against the Texas Rangers 10 years ago this year, by the way, and bat flip era as well. That's the 10-year anniversary, I believe, is now. And this is, again, not unheard of, but it's also not easy. So even if we did sweep them in their barn back in May, Jays fans being a little bit, they have to believe they're fans for a reason, but they also are trying to make sure that the team understands what they believe they need to do. And we also heard from Jeff Hoffman, the reliever for the Jays, has been in an experience like this before, coming out on the losing side while he was part of the Phillies in 2023, and it's given him some perspective.
I think maybe we got a bit overexcited. So maybe now we need to kind of just, go back to basics, go back to where we were in July and just focus on hitting. Pitching's kind of got to, it's not the best it could be. So that could use some work as well.
I mean, I bought the Trey Savage jersey. I'm all in on Trey. I think 3 runs in the first inning, maybe should have been 2. There was a questionable strikeout. I think I'm still optimistic about it for sure.
You got to win 4. We're going to go out tomorrow night and try to get 1 back, and all we can do is take it 1 game at a time. So, I remember being on the other end of that a couple of years ago, and the series is not over until it's over. So we just got to go out and play our game and focus on the now.
And yeah, focusing on the now, as Phil was pointing to, you got to win 4. Hoffman said it best. The team does know this. The players, obviously, the fans also still behind them, and they know it as well. If we can get 2 of 3 out in Seattle and then come back and take 2 at home, not a bad way of looking at the next 5 games. Back to you both as we still cheer those Blue Jays as they get out of this hole.
Do they know how to hit still? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
Because we haven't seen a lot of that. Do they still know how to hit?
Well, Starbucks came from Seattle. They just got to go to the original Starbucks in Pike Place Market.
Get some.
Couple shots, IV drip right in, put like a quadruple espresso in, and they're ready to go. I think so. That's what I think.
That's not what they mean by the juice.
No. Well, I mean, I'm not saying break rules. But you got to do what if you ain't cheating, you're not trying. I'm getting to that point. All right.
How about we just get back to hitting? Andrew Brennan, outside of the dome, thanks so much for all that. And the Brewers, they're going to try and even up their series tonight with the Dodgers in Game 2 of the ALCS.
1 out in the 6th. Freeman, a high fly ball to right. It is deep. Back on it, Churio, and Freddie Freeman sends one out of here.
See, he knew how to hit.
He knew. Freddie Freeman, Canadian, right? Opened the scoring in the 6th inning with a solo home run last night. Blake Snell struck out 10, allowing just 1 hit over 8 shutout innings as the Dodgers got a 2-1 victory. First pitch tonight in Milwaukee just after 8.
And speaking about Toronto sports teams, maybe not doing so well, the Leafs, they will also be trying to get back on track tonight as they host the Nashville Predators.
Nyes will take it deeper out of the corner. Sandin Pelican, Henry Craig.
Matthew Nyes, new deal. Great player, scored a goal and set up another as the Leafs came back from 2 goals down in the third period against Detroit. But Mason Appleton got the winner for the Red Wings with under a minute left. Okay, let's forget the rest of this. They beat the Leafs 3-2 after an opening night win against Montreal. The Leafs have dropped a pair of games to Detroit, getting outscored 9-5. Puck drop tonight at 7.
It's a tough test for the Canadian men's soccer team tonight in New Jersey in another World Cup tune-up match.
Torre beats Waterman for pace. Waste no time crossing the ball inside. Segura doesn't meet it, and Aaron Kunda able to beat Max Crepeau.
Yikes. Canada drop coming off a disappointing 1-0 loss to Australia on Friday and will be taking on Colombia tonight, 13th ranked team on earth. Canada is using these friendly matches to prepare for next year's World Cup. 2 more games are scheduled next month against Ecuador and Venezuela.
Lots of time.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of time. 5:45, feeling like 22. You're watching Live at 5.
Up next, a beluga trainer fired from Marineland is speaking out about what should happen to the whales. Welcome back. Let's go back to North York right now. Flames brought a TTC bus to a halt.
A viewer sending this video to CP24 showing a bus on fire pulled over to the side of Banbury Road near York Mills and Leslie.
Yeah, Toronto Fire says it happened around 2:40 in the afternoon on a hybrid bus. They say the bus was fully involved when crews arrived on the scene. All passengers, they had to obviously get off. No one was injured in this blaze, and the fire was knocked out pretty quickly.
The city is holding the first of 6 budget consultation meetings this evening.
Yeah, Torontonians will have a chance to ask questions and learn about the budget process and financial challenges. Tonight's meeting is at St. Lawrence Market North Building. Goes from 7 to 9 p.m. Second budget consultation will be held at the Etobicoke Olympium on Saturday afternoon. And there'll also be meetings in North York and Scarborough next week. City will also hold 2 virtual meetings at the end of the month. People who want to participate can register through the city's website.
Yeah, let's see how much our property taxes go up this year.
Been a lot last couple of years.
Yeah, it has. Premier Doug Ford addressed the Empire Club in Toronto this afternoon. He talked about what he described as dysfunction and abuse of taxpayers' dollars at Ontario's school boards.
Going to Italy, these school trustees, to spend $120,000 of taxpayers' money to buy $100,000 of beautiful Italian artwork to bring to their school. Last schools I've been to, they have the kids' pictures on the walls, not $100,000 and a junket of $120,000. Or let's all go out to the Blue Jays game on taxpayers' money and spend $22,000 for a box and go out there and have a great time. But the list goes on and on and on. But we're going to make sure they're held accountable.
Ford made the comments while speaking about his government's plan to protect Ontario when the fall session of the Ledge gets underway next week. The province assumed control of 4 school boards earlier this year, including the Toronto District School Board and Toronto Catholic District School Board, citing financial mismanagement.
Well, a beluga trainer who was fired from Marineland earlier this year is now speaking out.
Christy Burgess says that the closed park's crumbling infrastructure and lack of resources have created dangerous conditions for its remaining belugas, and they should be moved immediately. Burgess says the paint on pool walls is peeling. Concrete chunks are falling into the water. Burgess is speaking out after Marineland threatened to euthanize its 30 belugas if it doesn't receive emergency funding from Ottawa. That threat came after the federal government denied a request to move the whales to a massive aquarium in China. Burgess says that she would rather see an attempt made to move the whales to China, asking how leaving them at Marineland is not a better plan.
To the Middle East now, there are signs of a strain in the tenuous ceasefire in Gaza.
Well, Red Cross vehicles were seen arriving at a location in Gaza City to pick up the bodies of hostages from Hamas. This was after Israel said that it would cut the flow of aid into Gaza because of the slow return of dead hostages. Israel's focus has turned to when Hamas will return the bodies of 24 hostages after only 4 were turned over yesterday. Hamas did release 20 surviving hostages in exchange for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners.
In northern Gaza, health officials say the Israeli military fatally shot 3 Palestinians. The Israeli military says troops had opened fire to remove the threat of several people approaching them and not complying with orders to stop. There is uncertainty about when and how Hamas will disarm and about the future governance of the Gaza Strip.
CTV's Heather Wright is in Tel Aviv right now and says there's still many questions about the next steps in this arrangement.
We are essentially now in phase 2 of this ceasefire plan. The phase 1 was the returning of the living hostages, some of the bodies of the deceased hostages, and the release of those Palestinian prisoners and detainees. So now we are effectively in phase 2, but nobody really knows what phase 2 is going to look like or the details that still need to be figured out. A lot of contentious details. You mentioned Hamas disarming. You also mentioned the IDF withdrawing from the entirety of the Gaza Strip. None of those things have happened or are presumably going to happen in the near future. They've been non-starters for both of those parties throughout the last 2 years of this war.
Former Canadian ambassador to Israel, John Allen, says maintaining the ceasefire should be the focal point right now because the prospect of peaceful coexistence between Israel and Palestine is much more complicated.
As we know, Prime Minister Netanyahu opposes negotiations with the Palestinians. And so this is inevitably a way off. I saw that the King of Jordan mentioned today that a two-state solution is inevitable and the only way to ultimately deal with the problem. So you're getting different views from different players. I think what we've got to focus on now is the ceasefire, getting the situation in Gaza under control, and in the West Bank, stopping the settlement violence, moving towards free and fair elections, and moving that process forward.
The UN Humanitarian Office in Gaza says 817 trucks of aid have entered Gaza since the ceasefire took effect last week, but cautions that while the ceasefire has ended the fighting, it has not ended the crisis.
Okay, switching gears, R&B star D'Angelo has died.
Send it up, send it
Show the video.
send it back to you.
The singer's family confirming that he passed away today after a prolonged and courageous battle with pancreatic cancer. D'Angelo, whose real name is Michael Eugene Archer, rose to stardom in '95 with his debut album called Brown Sugar. He quickly was recognized as a leader in a new neo-soul movement, along with Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill, and Maxwell. His second album, Voodoo, reached #1 on the Billboard R&B chart and earned Grammys for Best R&B Album and Best Male R&B Vocal Performance. D'Angelo was 51 years old.
It's 5:55 right now. Feels like 22. You're watching Live at 5.
Coming up, we'll take a look inside a new horror experience at Cloverdale Mall in Etobicoke. Stay with us.
I'm not staying for that. Behind us now.
Done.
Halloween.
Check.
It's done. Done. Now it's chocolate time. A new survey is shedding light on this year's most popular costume.
Spider-Man, the top choice for kids. Is that where your two boys are being, Phil?
One's being a vampire, classic, and the other one, whatever fits.
And then, obviously, Phil doesn't have any girls. I'm not going to boys can't be princesses either. Witches, ghosts, other superheroes. It's not just the kids, though. Adults get into the spirit as well. Top grown-up costumes, witches, vampires, pirates, cats, always an easy one, and Batman.
Yes.
53% of Canadians celebrated Halloween last year. The average household, I feel like this is low, spent nearly $68 on costumes, candy, and decorations.
Yeah, decorations, easy, $68 at the dollar store, done and done. Okay, speaking of Halloween, an immersive, horrifying experience is underway at Cloverdale Mall in the lead up to Halloween.
It's called 13 Rooms. It involves all sorts of different scary themes. Phil Perkins already jumping beside me, including a zombie wasteland, creepy circus, deadly dolls. It's the newest work by the organization Screamers, which annually puts on a haunting experience in Vaughan.
We call it 13 Rooms because there are 13 sort of sets, but I mean, you've walked through it now, there's way more than that. I mean, everywhere you look, there's somewhere you can take a photo, something you can see, something you can put yourself into, right? So it's super exciting, and obviously we have a ton of actors roaming around, so you got to be aware of your surroundings, so you never know when they're going to jump out from around the corner.
I would not. I'd refuse that assignment. I'd refuse it. 13 Rooms is through October 26th.
It is 5:59, 22 degrees. You're watching Toronto's Breaking News, CP24. Thanks so much for watching. CTV News at 6 is coming up next.